Hi guys, this is the tutorial for creating your document using the GAFE. So if you'd prefer to make your document using PowerPoint, go ahead and select the other tutorial, the one that is about the PowerPoint. So if you want to get into your GAFE documents, go ahead and log in and then go to New and select Slides. So Google Slides is just another sort of slide presentation tool. The reason why we use it is because it gives you a lot of options in terms of editing not only text but also including images, and whereas in Word or a word processor you might have a hard time moving things to overlap each other, get very close to each other. You don't have that problem as much with presentation because you're dealing with basically one big image file rather than formatted text. So on the very first option here, you just choose Simple Light. We're going to have to change all these things anyway, but you probably want a white background because you don't want to be printing that much value using the printer just because it's more expensive. Go ahead and change your presentation name to whatever it is. So for the purpose of this document, I'm going to make sort of like a fake talk to the text sort of document. So I'm going to go ahead and call it Talk to the Text. The second thing you want to do is you want to go to File, Page Setup. Page Setup is an option that you have in most all what do you call them, programs. But it's especially important here because this gives us the option to make it the size of the paper that we're going to be printing. So go ahead and select this, and you're not selecting any of these things, you're going down to Custom, and we're going to make it 12 by 18. If you don't want it portrait, then you would make it 18 by 12 because it measures the length first and then the height. But because I do want to print it out this way, this is the way I'll do it. Then these things here are just here for your benefit. You can either highlight them and delete them, or you can use that, use those to type into. But really what we're looking for here is we're going to enter in some text in whatever style you want, and we're going to enter some images, and depending on what it is that you're making, if you're making a talk to the text kind of thing where kids are going to be highlighting and making notes all over the text, it might be mostly text. If you are just making a poster for like the rules in your classroom, that might be a combination of pictures and text. Or if you're just printing out the portrait of an author or something like that, these are all perfectly viable reasons why you would want to print on 12 by 18. So I can't really tell you what you want to do. If you come prepared with those ideas, those things will be a lot easier for me to help you with individually. But so imagine you're making just like a large printout for your students. These tools up here are the ones that are good for editing. This is how you make a new slide if you really want to make a whole bunch of pages of it. So I clicked that a couple times and you can see that it's made a couple more slides. I only need one for this. This is your classic undo, your redo button. Format pasting, I'm not worried about that right now. Zoom to fit and zoom are how we're going to interact with this. You can see that you can see the entire page right now. If you wanted to zoom into it, you would just use that magnifying glass there. Zoom to fit zooms way back out so you can see the whole page again. I tend to do a lot of editing, seeing the full page, but that's totally up to you how you want to do it. Once you're selected on one of these tools, you'll see that you can't click on anything anymore. That's what this blank pointer is, to select things and to highlight. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a piece of text. So I'm going to go ahead and drag a text box. That's clicking and dragging. And say we were going to make a talk to the text about nutritional facts. Go ahead and type in nutritional facts. I just highlighted it by hitting Command A. Just selects all. And I'm going to go up here to the font tool, and I'm going to change the font, and we can also change the size. So let's change the size just so it's easier to see for now. And then let's select a nice font. So once you click this, it'll open up a whole bunch of fonts. And a lot of these fonts you guys don't have, and the reason why you don't have them is because I added them. And that's how this button down here is how you do that. So click on More Fonts if you want to explore different types of fonts that you would like to use. A whole bunch of different options here. If you are doing talks to the text, I would suggest not using a super fancy font for the actual body of the text. It's a little bit of a graphic designer faux pas to use something really fancy for the body of the text. And plus, if you're using it with children, it's just going to make it harder for them to read accurately. So reserve Pacifico and things like that for titles and things like that, whereas maybe a standard Arial or Times New Roman would be good for the actual body of the font. So go ahead and select your fonts. They'll show up over here whenever you select new ones. And so let's say I want to use Sigmar 1 for the title of this document. Maybe I want to make it centered. Maybe drag it up a little bit further. In order to get that dragging tool, you just have to put your cursor on one of the blue outlines, except for this bottom one doesn't seem to like it, probably because I need to make the actual box bigger. To make the box bigger, you just have to go to one of these little boxes on the edges. They're called handles, and select different sizes. Obviously, you can see it's manipulating all of how far things are away from each other. This little button right here helps you to rotate things. So if you want to rotate things, I apologize if I'm giving you information that you already know. I just want to try to help as many people as I can. If you right-click on the edge of the box, it'll give you some options, including centering horizontally or vertically on the page. I don't actually want to center it vertically on the page because that's going to put it way down here. So horizontally is good, but not vertically. As I'm dragging this around, you're going to see that there are little red lines that are popping up. That's sort of like an alignment tool. So if it's red over here, you can see that the side of the box is lining up with that side as opposed to that side. But the center one's really helpful, actually, because it shows me that it's centered on the page as I move it up. So that's my title right there. And maybe I decide that I don't like the spacing here. Let's see if we can get the spacing of these two lines to be different. It's just line spacing. It's actually already on single, so I can't do anything about it, but suppose I want them a little bit further apart, I could put double spacing or whatever. So that's my title, right? Maybe, actually, I decide that I want this one to be a little bit further over, so that way I can put like a, what do you call those things? The nutritional facts that are on the side of a soup can or something like that. So I'm actually going to go over here, and I'm going to go to the image tool. I'm going to go ahead and click image. Maybe I'll go over here to search, because these other options are really, you can take a snapshot with your webcam if you want, or you can upload things. You can search for URLs. You can look within your, if you have a Google album somehow, or if you have images on your Google Drive, which I probably do, but not right now for what we're doing right now. So go to search, and this is just Google search, although I think you can do a whole bunch of different ones. Let's say nutritional facts. And it comes up with a whole bunch of stuff. So let's say I want to put this one in here. And we'll fit it right here in this nice space. It looks like, to me, the stuff needs to be moved over. So I just highlighted everything. You notice I used the black arrow, and I'm clicking and then dragging to select both of these things, and I'm actually just going to move it over a little bit. If you look over here, you can see what the whole page looks like. I think that looks pretty centered there between the two of those things. And then maybe here in this little spot I'll give some directions. It's always good to give kids directions. So I'll make another text box, and maybe using a different style font, so maybe like Courier New or something like that. I'll say, directions. Please read the following text and answer the questions below, or whatever. Oop, I can't even spell whatever. And maybe I decide that needs to be further down. Maybe my OCD graphic designer tendencies are coming out in this particular thing. So let's say now we're going to put some text in here. I've actually copied some lorem ipsum already, just to pretend like we had some font or some text in here. And maybe I'll select a different font from those directions to help to separate the two out. So there's my text, and I'll just make my text box a little bit smaller. And so now we have two different types of text, and maybe down here I say again in the directions kind of text to help separate it again. We say, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to do here. So, you know, you are to highlight the appropriate text that provides evidence that the food is, you know, nutritionally beneficial. Ooh. Or whatever your task is. So it doesn't really matter. I could just say, you know, blah, blah, blah. Once you have what you want to print out, then you would just follow the same directions that I had provided for you in the first tutorial. But just as a reminder, you go File, Print, and then in here, you know, like I said before, maybe these things are all looking correct, but you need to make sure it's coming from the right tray. So you have to click on that Print Using System dialog box. And make sure that your printer is selected, make sure that your preset is selected to that 12 by 18 poster mode that we've made. And here's something that I'm noticing. It is defaulting to 8.5 by 11, so please make sure that you click on that and select your 12 by 18 preset that we made. Once all that stuff is correct, all of these things down here will automate based on your presets, so you should be able to hit print and go ahead and load the paper into the bypass feed and make sure it's coming out correctly. Good luck, guys. Thank you.